This is Ready, Set, Reiki, a podcast about Reiki and all energy work, from the curious beginner to the seasoned master teacher, welcoming all systems, all lineages, all levels. Reiki is a journey and not a destination. And on this Ready, Set, Reiki journey, I refer to myself as a guide rather than host, as I too am traveling, learning, and supporting others on this Reiki journey as well. And with that said, I am your guide, Tracy Seawright, and this is Ready, Set, Reiki. Hello, Reiki family. Reiki blessings to you, one and all. Another journey together. But before we begin, a little shout out to my friend, Christian Stone. Now, Christian Stone has a Facebook group, Reiki Business Collective. Here it's about sharing, supporting, and serving, connecting with your Reiki business community. So here is a place where we can gather, support, encourage, and grow. And don't let that business name fool you, no matter where you are on your journey. I hope that you know that as you're in this wonderful, beautiful modality of Reiki, that you're never, ever alone. There are people here, such as myself, that are here to support and guide you on this journey as well. Another thing to bring up as well, the Reiki Business Summit, now April 18th to the 19th, 2026, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Christian Stone is our guide, our leader here, and there's someone in here who looks a little familiar because that's me and my mentor, Karen Kaig, as well. So lots of great information, lots of wisdom here at this summit. People who've been in the business here for decades. So check it out. It might be a great resource for you on your journey. So back to our journey, I have an amazing and wonderful guest. It is Liana Zee. She is a hairdresser with over 20 years of experience and an Uzui Holy Fire Reiki 2 practitioner on a path to becoming a master. Now, she's been working behind the chair, has always been about connection for her, holding space for people, listening, and help them feeling their best self. That natural connection with people eventually led her to energy work. Now, she now runs the L Energy Salon and Reiki studio in Las Vegas, where she combines her passion for helping people look good and feel their best, both physically and energetically. Her work is centered around creating a safe and supportive space where people can relax, reset, and reconnect with themselves. So let's give a warm Ready, Set, Reiki welcome to Liana. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi.
Wonderful to have you on this journey. And I told our listeners just a little bit about you, but I know there's so much more. Hairdresser. My mom was a hairdresser. My daughter was trained as a hairdresser. And the great thing about that is, my mom easily went into nursing, and my daughter, she is out there working at a hospital as well. So she's a respiratory therapist. So
that's great.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, well, thank you so much for having me and welcoming me on your journey. I'm so thankful and grateful to be here. So appreciate it very, very much. A little bit about me. Well, I'm originally from New York City, born and raised. So I've been in Las Vegas for about 10 years now. And it's a completely different vibe out here. To me, it's more slowed down, which I needed and I appreciate. So, I have my own studio in Henderson. I'm here in Las Vegas, and that's where I do both hair and Reiki.
Beautiful. So we're here for Reiki and how you connected with it. When did Reiki come into your life? Did you find Reiki or did it find you?
Well, I've always been drawn to energy and connection as long as I can remember. But Reiki specifically came into my life years ago. I met an incredible woman who was a medium. And she introduced me to a whole community of people working with different energy modalities. So that was my first real exposure to that energy Reiki world. And that's where I first learned about Reiki and I experienced it. And I was very drawn to it. But at the time, I was just more focused on my own personal spiritual growth through the community rather than studying Reiki. And then more recently, I found another community that's specifically focused on Reiki. So they have their own circles and everything. So I was able to learn and delve into Reiki in a deeper way than before. So learning about it in a deeper way and actually understanding it individually, it really gave me the pull to really feel like I wanted to become a practitioner. So that's where my journey started and where I am right now with Reiki.
Beautiful. And it makes sense really to combine Reiki and hairdressing because you're in people's hair. You're touching your head. So I'm often very particular on who does my hair. You
Yeah.
know, they have to have really great energy because they're all in here, right? Shampoo,
Yeah.
styling, all of those things.
Yeah.
And I've often found the ones that I have ended up choosing or they chose me are intuitive as well.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I had an
Definitely.
interesting story that I had my hairdresser tell me a story about something. I ended up having like COVID for the first time. Then
Oh,
I had bronchitis. Then it
oh,
turned into
no.
a sinus infection, and I
Mm,
had to cancel my hair appointment. And I went in like when I was all better, and I sat down in the chair, and she's like, "Girl, what happened to you?" And I
mm.
told her, and she's like, "Oh my gosh." She said, I have a client that had something similar happen, and she ended up having something wrong with her tooth. And I said,
Oh,
what? And so I said, I have a dentist appointment like next week. And
mm,
she said, then you better go and say something. So I went to the dentist and I said, listen, I had all these things happen. My hairdresser said this. I think it's a sign. They need
mhm.
to X-ray everything. And they did an X-ray. And on the healthy front tooth, they found an abscess, the same place
Oh,
as her client. And
oh, wow.
and they and we
Look at
fixed
that.
it.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I mean, connection right there.
Mhm.
What a blessing. And the specialist I went to, he said, "You better take her out to dinner or get her some coffee or something that she caught that." So yeah, really important
Yeah.
who connects with you with that.
Oh, yeah.
So
Definitely.
as you're out here, Reiki level 2, Holy Fire,
Mhm.
and you are in this beautiful stress reducing modality, I'm sure you have your clients, family, friends saying things. What are some of the misconceptions that you hear about Reiki?
That's a really good question because, like, honestly, there are so many. But the main thing that I hear all the time when I tell people I do Reiki is, "Really? You believe in that?" And the truth is, there's nothing to believe in. Reiki isn't tied to any belief system. It's not about religion, and it's not about like believing in something in particular. So I think when people hear the term universal life force energy, their mind immediately goes to ideas of like God and spirits and something that feels really like more outside of them. But Reiki is really about connection universally, and with each other on an energetic level. And that's happening whether you believe in it or not. Like everybody has experienced that in some form.
Right,
So people of any background can experience it and benefit of it. And I say it's not that you have to believe in it, you just have to be open to it.
right, right. Yeah, the universe is in you and all around, right?
Hmm.
Believe in, your Wi-Fi technology, right? And phone calls and all kinds of other things, but they are not open to Reiki.
Right.
So, as a hairdresser, as a business owner, you have this passion for helping people look and feel their best physically and energetically. But as you stand here today and look back at your life, what has been or challenge or struggle that you've had to face in your healing journey?
Well, my healing journey is always ongoing. Like, I don't think anyone's ever fully done. So for me, the biggest challenge has been learning to like let go. I naturally tend to overanalyze things and I like to have like a sense of control and direction. But life doesn't really work like that. So it's been a process of learning to just let things unfold and try not to force anything. My mantra has become like let go and let flow. And it sounds simple, but actually living that has been one of the hardest parts for me, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. It's that every day,
Mhm.
every day.
Struggle.
So Reiki 2 practitioner, learning Holy Fire. It's, encouraged to do the self Reiki. It's
Mhm.
encouraged to do your 5 principles. And,
Mhm.
when it's time for you to get an energetic tune up, or
Mhm.
if you're kind of doing your own work, maybe what are some qualities you either look for in a Reiki practitioner, or maybe the qualities you look for in, say, a master teacher to train you?
Um, so even though like Reiki isn't the practitioner's personal energy, like going into it, but each person still has their own way of working with it. So it is important to find someone who you do like feel a connection with. So because it does feel a little different depending who you go to, even though it's the same energy. So that's a really good question because for me, it really just comes down to how I feel around that person. It's all energy. So I tend to be drawn to practitioners who are like they feel more grounded and calm and steady, not like a big energy or super overwhelming for me. So for me, it's not really about like technique or, what type of Reiki you do. It's just more about like how their energy feels to me and how comfortable I feel around them.
Right, absolutely. I had gone to the dentist a couple months ago when I had that situation in
Mhm.
my mouth, and there was a dental hygienist, and it was just her energy was so unique to there. And she probably has no idea what Reiki is,
Right.
right? But just how, like, wow. And I even said something to the dentist. I said, wow, she's like a really great calming presence. And then I had gone another time to the dentist, and it was a different dental hygienist, and she was just kind of dropping things and
Mhm.
nervous energy. And I'm like, oh gosh, this girl's just not having a great day.
Mhm.
Today for my like 6 month checkup and cleaning, and there that dental hygienist was there, that one with that great energy. And when we were done, I said, you know what, I think you're like one of the best dental hygienists here. Your energy is just so great and calming. And it
Mhm.
really makes a difference with the experience with that. Because if you don't resonate with that person,
Mhm.
you're not going to feel comfortable asking the questions. And there's some tough questions in your journey.
Mhm.
I was trained, teachers I've had like 6 years ago, I still message and ask questions,
Mhm.
things that
Oh
come up.
yeah,
So it's a lifeline. So it's really
absolutely.
important to feel comfortable and to feel safe, just as you
Mhm.
going to somebody like, my hair color is a little more challenging for some people to trust somebody
Mhm.
to do that or to style your hair and things like that. So you want to be very mindful who you work with. So yeah, got that gut
Mhm.
feeling, right?
Mhm.
So here you are, you have a beautiful salon Reiki studio in Las Vegas. You've been doing this for some time. So if someone is inspired, like, wow, I didn't think I could mix these two, this profession, right? These modalities together, haircutting and Reiki, what advice would you give someone who's just entering spiritual work and wants to merge type of two professions really together?
If you're already into spiritual work, and you go to, you learn hair school, you can learn the technical. So you can kind of mix them. But if you're already a hairdresser, like I was, it's kind of natural. You learn Reiki to learn the techniques of Reiki, but you should understand pretty much about energy already. So if you're just starting out in energy work or combining energy work with something else, I would say that the best advice I could give someone starting is to just take the time to understand what this work actually means to you as an individual. So it's easy to get caught up in doing things like the right way or following techniques, like how you were taught. But spiritual work is really personal, and so is hairdressing too. So there's no way, one way it's supposed to look or be. So you can learn the structure and techniques, and that's important. But at the end of the day, this kind of work is very intuitive. So instead of trying to like fit into a mold, I would say take the time to develop your own understanding and how you relate to it. And most importantly, trust your intuition because this is all a lot of intuition. You have the technical, and then everything else is going to come through you. It's all your intuition, follow it. Even when I was learning, they were saying, here's the way to do it, but then you're going to go figure out your own way after. So just allow your own energy to be part of what you're doing and just allow, because that's what's going to set you apart is you and your personal energy.
Right, right. I feel like this would be like a fantastic article to write to help
Yeah.
people to give them show them a different way, right?
Mhm.
I mean, what a
Yeah.
great thing to merge them together. I mean, I just love it because it's just such a personal
Mhm.
experience with touching hair and all these things and having this offering.
Yeah.
So what books do you recommend if you don't have any books, or is there a podcast or someone that you follow that you're inspired by?
I don't have like a list, but there is a book, a series, that was made into a little movie too, that was, it really stands out for me. And honestly, it helped shape how I see things. And it's called What the Bleep Do We Know?
Mhm.
And you heard of it? It's kind of older.
Yeah.
And that was my one of the first things that really opened my eyes because it connects quantum physics and spirituality. And in a way that actually made sense to me. It's explained very it goes into depth, but explained very plainly for people to understand. And when I saw that, it really connected with me because I've always been someone who just wants to understand things, not just believe. So that link between like that logical and spiritual side was really important for me. So that was basically kind of the foundation of my learning journey. It explored spirituality in the way I had always felt it. Like, and from there, I just really went down the rabbit hole, as they say. They say that in the book. How far down the rabbit hole do you want to go? And I'm like, oh, you know. So,
And it's
you
amazing
know,
how one book can completely
yeah.
change your life. Years ago in my 20s, I read A Purpose-Driven Life, and that really
Mhm.
changed things and changed how I looked at things. And it was, I was a young mother at the time, but it was a slow
Mhm.
progression. But that always stood out for me as one of the things that started it. And that wasn't, I'm a yoga teacher. My background was elementary education, yoga, Reiki, and that had nothing to do with it. It was just, where do you want your life to go, right?
Yeah. I have to add that to my list. I have a whole list of everybody, and I'm like, when am I going to have time to read these?
Right, right. That's when you do the audio book.
Audiobook, exactly.
I used to do that, like when I was in yoga training. The Yoga Sutras of Palanjani's often was challenging for me to read, and I had to read it as a requirement for the 200-hour yoga training. And I would have to just listen to it at night. It was hard to follow. And in
Mhm.
that audio version of it, they would chant it, and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm never going to
Mhm.
absorb all of this, but it comes with time. So yeah.
Mhm.
So, what services do you offer? Do you do any events or classes or trainings?
Um, I personally don't do any classes or trainings, not yet. I haven't reached my master. I do belong to a Reiki circle that meets once a week out here. On Facebook, they're called Healing Hands Reiki, and it's a free circle,
Yeah.
and it's what started my journey. It's a free circle. They just do love donations, and it's just everyone coming together in a nice, safe space. We talk to each other, and then you can receive Reiki from one of the masters and one of the practitioners. I'm one of the practitioners now. Um, but as you know, I'm a hairdresser as well. So, in my studio, it's called like you said in the beginning, it's called L Energy Salon and Reiki Studio. So you were talking about how they really do go hand in hand,
Right.
and they really, really do. There's a huge energy exchange happening. Just as you sitting there in your hairdresser and me having my own private studio, I can kind of, individualize it and keep it more private and personal. So it's easy for me to kind of switch up my space from hair to Reiki. People call their hairdresser their therapist, a lot of times because you're already in that space, you relax and let your guard down. So it's really like offering both because as a hairdresser, you deal with the energy and
Sure.
you still offer your healing because that's what you're there for.
Right.
But offering Reiki as a separate service kind of allows me to like focus just on that. So I like being able to do the two of them. So yeah, I love being a hairdresser and doing Reiki and my little Reiki circle. I love it so much.
Yeah. And sometimes when I work with particular clients that here in El Paso, I don't know how it is in Las Vegas, where let's say people dabble in some things that they probably
Mhm.
shouldn't. And if I encounter that dark energy, low energy, I have the need to just wash my hair.
Mhm.
Just like I gotta go wash
Mhm.
my hair. I gotta
Mhm.
wash
You get it out. Yeah.
and get it out. So it
Mhm.
makes sense with all of that, with the
Oh,
connection with the crown. Teresa,
absolutely.
so, I saw her live here in El Paso, and it seems like her hair is getting higher and higher and higher. And she said that's to protect her crown, and it's getting closer,
Mm.
right? So Texas, right, where
That's
it's
what they say. The higher the hair, the closer to God. That's
the
their
gods. So
saying. Yeah.
protecting, and it was right up here because she's protecting her crown. So you
Um,
didn't realize how this is
mhm.
a great connection for,
Oh, definitely.
yeah. So where can we find you if we want to
Mhm.
your salon, if they want a Reiki session, and if you do Reiki sessions, you do them do you do them online, or only in person or both?
Um, I haven't done them online just yet. I do them in person in my studio. So my space is called L Energy Salon and Reiki Studio. It's in Henderson, Las Vegas. If you're in Las Vegas and you know that area, it's off of Eastern and St. Rose. Some people, if they're local, they will know where that is. You can reach me on my social media. So on Instagram, it's L underscore energy underscore salon. On Facebook, it's just L Energy Salon and Reiki Studio. So they can send me a message on either platform. And I also post a lot of information about Reiki, about energy. I post a lot of stuff about my learning journey and how energy and Reiki connects to me, about how it connects to hair. I also post pictures of my work on my Instagram. I'm working on some reels right now to show my space and show how I work in my space. So right now I do everything out of my studio. I do hair and then I do Reiki. And then we have our Reiki circles. But yes, my social media, it's all about social media. So just you can find me there and message me there and check out all my stuff.
Beautiful. Are they able to book online, or is it something they have to connect to you by
No,
calling?
that's something, yeah, you message me and we connect and we'll do that. Just especially since I have hair and Reiki, the time, it's kind of hard for someone to gauge what time. And a lot of that needs a consultation first, I think, to see exactly what you need. And a lot of people actually have more questions before they want to book an appointment. So I find it's easier to just message me and we can figure out together what you need and how much time we're going to book.
Excellent. So that was our last question, and I'm going to guide you into the second part, which is questions from social media and from Reiki students. So here we go. Number one, do you remember what Reiki felt like for you the very first time? And how does it compare to your experience today?
I definitely remember the first time. It was really strong and emotional for me. I remember feeling a lot of warmth, a lot of intensity, and I even cried a little bit. It really opened me up energetically. And now my experience can still be just as powerful, but it's just a little different. I think the first time there's that element of everything being new. It almost feels like an awakening in a way, at least for me it did. So now it varies more depending on like what I need or who I'm working with. But sometimes it's very strong. Sometimes it's a little more subtle. But I always leave feeling calm and grounded. I always just love it and feel more balanced. But now I feel like I can connect with the energy much easier. I'm much more open, and the flow feels more familiar.
Right.
It's always a great experience. I love it.
Beautiful. Number two, what's something people don't realize they're carrying until they finally slow down and allow themselves to receive?
There's a lot. I think the number one thing that they don't realize how much stress and tension they're absorbing every day and just carrying with them. It shows up physically, tight shoulders, jaw clenching, also emotionally, when you're feeling constantly on edge, overwhelmed, anxiety. And it can be so frequent and to the point where it feels normal almost. And you don't really notice how much you're holding until you actually slow down and allow yourself to release it. When you do, it just feels like a huge weight has been lifted and it can change your life. You just don't realize what you're bringing in and holding on to yourself. And you let go and you're like, oh, I feel like a whole new person. And that's the number one thing that everybody says, like, oh, I feel like a weight has been lifted off of me.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's just people don't realize what stress does to them. It wreaks havoc into your world. Yeah.
Absolutely. In every aspect of your life. And I say the same thing as a hairdresser in your hair. It shows up in your hair.
Mm-hmm.
It shows up in your skin. It shows up in just everything, your attitude and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when I moved to El Paso, I was originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I was really struggling with the move. And coming out here, it's dry here and it's dry where you are.
Mm-hmm.
I could just feel it in my hair. And I look back at some pictures when I first got here, and I was like, oh my God, look at my hair. It's like crazy. Oh my goodness. Right. And then just more calming things, lifestyle changes, moving into a house I felt more comfortable with, began to shift and change things. So yeah. Number three, was there a singular event or a period in your life you can look back and say, that's when my life went into the direction of spirituality?
Oh, that's a very good question. Honestly, there wasn't one like singular moment for me. Spirituality and the idea of energy and connection was something I had experience for as long as I can remember. I just didn't really have the language for it yet. And the way I feel like I connected earliest is growing up. I was always very connected to animals.
Mm.
I was born into a house with like tons of pets, you know. So we that was really the first way that I understood like a connection without words, you know. Um you feel it, you know, you read them, you know what they need without them saying, and vice versa. You know, my pets were like really my first friends, you know. So looking back, I think that that ability to be able to connect on that deeper level really shaped how I understood energy and just universal connection. So it wasn't something I got into. It was more like I started understanding something that I had already been experiencing my whole life.
Right.
And you do feel like that deeper connection, you know, understanding energy, understanding something that can't talk to you. It really shaped like, oh, there's something else. Like, what is this? You know?
Right. Right. It's like all the pieces started to be placed
Hmm.
together
I'm
and
like,
you,
oh, energy. Okay. Oh, it's a universal thing. We can all
right,
connect to each other. This is great.
right, right. Because when people ask like, oh, how long have you been doing this? Since Atlantis,
Right.
you know,
Right. Since I was born and opened my eyes, you know,
right?
yeah.
Well, that was our last question. As we've been talking, is there something you may have forgotten or something you want to share with the listeners? The floor is yours.
Um, I think those questions were great. I think you really pretty much covered everything. And I really like that you understand the connection between hairdressing and Reiki.
Yeah.
So that was really, it's really nice. I didn't have to go and explain it. You understood it and you helped me explain it very, very well.
I was a child that growing up, my mother experimented on my hair. My mother worked
Mhm.
at a time where the ladies had the blue hair, you know, the
Yeah.
older ladies. And then, like, and this is really going to age me, when Daryl Hannah had Splash, you know, in her
Mhm.
so my hair was so thick and long that they used to have to use a trash bag around my
Oh,
head for the perm. And it was
fascinating.
all spiral perms. It was crazy.
It
I mean,
probably took forever.
it took forever. And then I hated my hair color, and my hair's been all different types of colors. And one time I wanted my hair like blonde, bleach blonde, and my mom pulled it with a cap, and it looked
Oh,
terrible.
no.
I'm not a blonde hair. And so, yeah, I always experimented with colors and, so yeah, I totally get it. But I can see like you're being a master teacher and you're having these classes
Mhm.
and you're doing the work with combining, you know, hairstyling and giving Reiki to the comb and Reiki to the treatments, right? And your disinfectant and
Mhm. Yeah, clearing it out every single kind of way, all the ways.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this
Yeah.
journey and taking time out of your very busy schedule to be a part of the Ready Set Reiki journey.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate this so much. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. All right, my beautiful listeners, if you want your question featured on Ready Set Reiki, reach out www.readysetreiki.com or check me on social media and maybe your question will be on the podcast. So I'm Tracy Seawright and this has been Ready Set Reiki.